Obviously, last night you were at Citi Field for the Mets clinching of the NLDS, the first time they've ever clinched at Citi Field since it opened. I just want to know
Wow.
from your perspective, what was the atmosphere like? Because you were sitting front row. What was the atmosphere like in the stadium?
It was crazy. It was wild. The fans definitely deserve it. The ownership deserve it. Stephen Alex Cohen, they've done a great job with that. David Stearns, all these guys, but the fans more than anything. I mean, it was so energized, and even coming to the game, I got there by 3 o'clock. I mean, it was packed, tailgating going on. The fans was ready. The house was electric, and especially when Lindor hit that home run, it just went crazy. I mean, being a fan and a former player, I just had goosebumps just going through I got so into it. I'm jumping up, high fiving the fans. I mean, it was electric. I'm excited about this team and very proud of the job that Mendoza's done with them.
And I was going to ask you about the Lindor home run because they caught you on the broadcast. When Lindor went up to the plate, what was going through your mind? Did you like, because this guy has single-handedly put the team on his back, even with his back
Yes.
not being healthy right now. What was going through your mind when he took the plate?
When he came up after Everest was up, with no outs, and he hit the infield, the what you call it, the force play at home, and then when Lindor's coming, you're just thinking, just make contact, just don't hit it on the ground. And the thing about it, a couple pitches before the home run, he was so late on the fastball, and you're just hoping, just make contact, just make good contact. And when he first hit it, I thought it was going in the gap. I didn't think it was going out. I knew nobody was going to catch it, but when it went out, oh my God, it was just amazing. And like you say, it couldn't happen to a better guy. This guy's been solid. I know he has his personal struggles when he first came to New York, and to see what he's done this entire year, I mean, he's leading by example. And it seems like when he goes, the team goes, and it was just the right man at the right time. And I'll be the first to admit it. When the season first started, they got off to a rough start. There's no way I could imagine they'll be in this position they're in, or even making the playoffs. But where they're at right now, anything is possible. Anything is possible.
And you mentioned Lindor's struggles when he first came to New York to like be that guy. He said he was doing too much to be the guy. People right
Yes.
now have symbolically referred to him as the captain. Do you think that's the next logical step Steve Cohen, David Stern, that Carlos Mendoza will do? Because they haven't had a captain since David Wright. Do you think he's next in line to put the C on his chest?
It's only fitting. Obviously, I'm not in the clubhouse. I don't know how the guys take to him, but watching how they go to him, how he's constant in the game, even when he was struggling this year and previous times, he still was so into the game. This guy plays every day, and he plays a demanding position at shortstop. From my perspective, from what I've seen, I know him personally, even when he was in Cleveland. I would say he's definitely deserving, but obviously it's not my call. But from outside looking in, I would definitely say he's the guy, and he still has a long career here to play. So he would definitely be my pick right now.
And you mentioned the rough start to the year. You were there on April 14th. You had your jersey retired. They won that game, but from March to basically end of May, it was a rough go of things. In
Yes.
regards to first year manager Carlos Mendoza, what has he done so well to keep this team gelled together to make sure it didn't fall apart and that they still went out there and played ball to get to this point?
I think the one thing I see, and I know Carlos a little bit, he stays even kill. He don't get too high, he don't get too low, and he keeps everybody sharp. Even the guys that was struggling early in the year, he keeps them in the lineup. He keeps guys going. He keeps his whole bench ready. Keeps everybody ready to go. And I think communicating is always the key when you're in that position. He does that well. And this guy is solid. If he's not manager of the year, I don't know who is. He's definitely my pick.
And one of the reasons the Mets are at least have been able to get to this point as well, Pete Alonso has started to get hot in October at the right time. There's a lot of talk saying Pete Alonso, his time in New York's coming to an end. I know you don't deal out the contract, but do you think the Mets need to re-sign Pete Alonso because he's a homegrown talent, a cornerstone piece? How big is it, do you think, to re-sign him?
Hopefully it all works out. I like to see Pete stay here. Pete's a Tampa guy. I'm a Tampa guy. Pete has a lot of heart. He has a lot of pride. And I think earlier he would probably, even at the beginning of the season, he put a lot of pressure on himself for the contract. This guy is solid. Another guy that plays every day. And I'll tell you what's getting overlooked because they look at his offense, his defense. His defense has been lights out. I don't know if Keith's been working with him or who's been working with him, or maybe he's just improving himself. But this guy takes a lot of pride in his defense. He takes a lot of pride in playing every day, and he shows up. Even when he was struggling, he was in front of his locker, and that's what I admire about a guy that does that. Because it's easy to be in front of your locker when you're doing well, but when you're struggling, to still be in front of your locker, that says a lot about the man itself. So I'm hoping that things get worked out with the Mets and Pete Alonso, and he's around for a long time.
And obviously, there's still a little bit ways to go. The Yankees need to win their ALDS matchup with the Royals, and the Mets obviously they need to win their NLCS. But there is a strong chance right now that there could be a Subway World Series. How awesome would that be for New York City to experience that
Oh man,
again?
that would be crazy. I would love to see that. I mean, both teams get in because at one time this year, e- either team was struggling at different times, and I think New York deserves that. And the way things going, like you said, it could happen. Nobody saw that coming into the season, but the weirdest thing is happening. And I know me personally, I would love it. I was actually involved in the 2000 Subway Series, but looking at it from the outside now as a fan, that would be crazy.
And just my last question, I won't put you on the spot to pick which team you would want to win because I know you wouldn't give an answer to that. What do both teams need to do to make that a reality, both the Yankees and the Mets from your perspective?
I think I'll start with the Yankees. I think just staying consistent. Obviously, pitching got to continue pitching what he did last night, and the bullpen has to step up a little bit. I would like to see that, and I think it's going to happen. And it's just a matter of time before Sudge and before Judge and Soto gets going. I think the main thing is just being consistent and just playing an inning at a time. And I say for the Mets, just keep it going. Whatever you're doing, just keep rolling what you're doing, and don't get too high and don't get too low. Just maintain what you're doing right now is good enough.